All right, let's get into our first story, which is not really a story, but it's continuing, I suppose. Dominic Ducharme out in Montreal, and then Martin St. Louis coming in, and there were a plethora of other acquisitions, you could say, to the Montreal Canadiens organization for the higher echelon of the organization.
Hmm.
Vincent Lecavalier comes to mind, although he's there for mainly the scout. But anyways, let's go to the coaching here. The big guy, Martin St. Louis, the big guy, big
Quite
quad
the
man,
opposite.
big quad man here.
Yes, the
Um,
quad god.
he takes over for Dominic Ducharme. What was your first impressions of that acquisition, or yeah, however you want to say it?
At first, honestly, I was a little shocked just because like this guy took your team to the finals less than a year ago. Mind you, yeah, it wasn't a non-traditional season, but still went all the way to the finals. And like, I mean, you gotta think that would have counted for something, but I mean, clearly, like with Bergevin getting the sack earlier in the year, not ownership, new president GM coming in. They want to bring in their guys, and they want to, I guess, change the culture. That's always a word that presidents and GMs use during these times. They want a culture change, and I guess they just felt that Ducharme he maybe lost the locker room, which I mean, to lose the room within a year, that's pretty shocking, but hey, sometimes that happens. And you look at the change ever since San Luis came in. I mean, it looks like he's given Cole Caulfield more of a prominent role and kind of maybe motivated him or given him confidence again. Because I mean, Caulfield, like you definitely know, this. Caulfield like said how growing up he wore the number 26 because of San Luis. So like sometimes just having that, like having like your idol as your coach, is the kind of like the motivation you need, and just to get your confidence, like having like your childhood hero just telling you like, hey, just do this, and like these little adjustments just to help your game. Like I was basically the same size as you. If I'm like to paraphrase San Luis or something like that, right? Like
Right.
they're both small guys, and hey, San Luis was one of the greats, won a Stanley Cup, and had an amazing career, very long career too. So yeah, maybe sometimes that's all. Especially Caulfield, he's a young kid. He's still got a long career ahead of him, I think. So yeah, sometimes you just need that early in your career just to get the confidence going. Just know that, like, yeah, not every game is going to be your best game, and you got to know that there's going to be some highs and lows, and
Well, that's
that's the
what
way
he
it is.
say. Martin St. Louis actually said in an interview after the game that they destroyed the Maple Leafs that they want to play with swagger, and that's not
Hmm.
like an ego thing or anything like that. It's just being able to be yourself on the ice, play the way that you play. You grew up playing on the rink because that's when you have the most fun. That's when you're not thinking about the defensive game. I mean, of course, it's important the defensive game and whatnot, but just focusing on your craft. And Cole Caulfield, he's not a guy that's a 200-foot player. I don't think he was ever meant to be a 200-foot player at the start.
Hmm.
That'll take time to get to. But Dominic Ducharme, the way he was playing him, he wasn't even playing double digits a night. He was maybe playing 9 minutes, 8 minutes. Now he's playing upwards of 21 minutes, fully utilized. And yeah, he's definitely bringing out the best in the players. He is bringing the inspiration, the fight that was there at one point, especially during the playoffs. That that energy was missing, and now you see it fully part of the Montreal Canadiens, and that's something that I, for one, am very happy for as the Montreal Canadiens fan between us. Um, I do feel bad a bit for Dominic Ducharme, but at the same time, the way he was managing the prospects, the lines, and it just looked like the same old average. You could have put Claude Julien there, or Michel Therrien there. He would have done. They would have done the same thing. There would have been no difference between Dominic Ducharme. The fact that they made it to the finals, I don't think it was a product of Dominic Ducharme. I think that was
Hmm.
just the product of the team that was there being at the perfect time, perfect place, perfect time, whatever. Right?
Hmm.
It was a
Yeah.
lucky. We would all say it's a lucky run. We said it from the beginning when they made it to the playoffs. They were lucky to get even in there, and they made the best of it. And I guess now with Marc Bergevin gone, and they didn't have any organized like a development program for their players. Zero, nada. There
Hmm.
was no development program. These guys, Kakanyemi, Caulfield, Ryan Poehling, these guys came in to this organization and basically, well, the AHL is your development program. That's it. There's nothing we're gonna help you with in your development
Yeah.
and your growth. It's just here's the wolves, get eaten or stay alive, right?
Yeah.
A really old mind hockey. And Martin St. Louis brings in a fresh set of eyes and a guy who's been the underdog and knows how it feels to be the underdog. I didn't personally think he was going to be a good coach. I mean, I was maybe a little conflicted because he didn't have any coaching experience before, other than being a special teams coach in Columbus for the power play specifically. I think
Hmm.
John Tortorella said that Montreal was going to really like him, and I guess look at that, they do like him.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm looking at the results. I mean, you got 3 wins in a row, starting with the one against St. Louis in overtime. I think that really got the ball going for them.
Yes,
Sunday with the shootout win over the Islanders, and then obviously Monday, the thrashing of the Maple Leafs.
the
And
destruction.
I mean, you guys got Buffalo tonight, so a chance to make it 4 in a row. Whether you guys want to win 4 in a row, though, I don't know. Like, you guys should.
I
It's
could
tank
care
mode,
less.
really.
I
It's
could
tank
care
season,
less.
right?
If we don't get the first overall pick, I'm not mad. Not mad at all. I will not be
Really.
mad. No,
See,
it,
if I were a Habs fan, I would be
it's
mad.
called contextual. It's all in the context of things. Like if I'd rather have these guys be performing to where they were at one point, be happy playing in this organization. I don't want to see any more trades. To be frank with you, I don't want to see any
Hmm.
other guy leave this organization because I feel that everyone here is just performing as they should, as they at their full capacity. Josh Anderson, for one, we're going to get into the trade rumors, but he's one of them in the trade rumors that's been talked about a lot because of his success in the playoffs, his big stature, the way he just goes and crashes to the net,
Hmm.
and he's successful at it. But now he just looks like himself and even better with this recent change, this coaching change. Do you want to remove that? Do you want to remove the stability, this change that this coach is bringing upon this team, the motivation every game he brings on?
Hmm.
Like Tyler Toffoli, we can get into that. The recent trade with Calgary,
Yep.
which was their first round pick for this year. It's protected. Is it top 10 protected or is it just
Yes, it is top 10 protected. So if it does happen to somehow Calgary somehow falls into the top 10, they can choose to either still send that pick anyways, or they could send next year's first. But if they do that, they'll also Montreal will also receive a fourth the year after.
will that like the condition getting the next year's pick with the fourth,
Mhm.
is that first protected as well?
No,
Oh, it's unprotected. I would
that one
rather
is
have
not.
that. I'd rather have the next year's then.
Uh, yeah, but I mean, they're most likely gonna just choose to give you guys this year's
For
first.
sure, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah.
saying, in the context of things, Calgary is more likely to eat eat crap next year than
Yeah,
this
yeah,
year.
because they got all the momentum going for them this year, right? So they're not. It doesn't look like they'll slow down. I mean, usually, I mean, the Flames are a weird team. I obviously don't want to.
You're a fan of the Flames too.
I, I think I was. I was, man.
Whoa, you
I was.
was, you was. Now you
Yeah.
aren't.
Up until this past off season, I like
What
officially.
is this?
Yeah,
You'd
basically
rather
so
be a
since
Leafs
like
fan than a Flames fan. That's crazy.
I mean, I'm from one of the places, but yeah, I mean, the Flames they've always kind of been like my West team since like high
Okay.
school, I would say. The reason why I decided to just like give up on them, I guess yeah, pretty much that's what happened was just because I'd say they almost disappointed me as much, if not more, than the Leafs somehow would,
Wow.
because they had a lot of years where it's like they looked good, and I'm like, okay, they can be solid, especially when the Leafs were crap. I'm talking about like when the Leafs were still rebuilding. I focused a lot more on the Flames than I did the Leafs, right? And like
Hmm.
there'd be years where I'm like, okay, like the Flames could be good this year. They can hopefully go for a deep run, and then they like choke during the season, or like there was a 2019. where they won the Western Conference. They finished first in the West, and then they won game one of the playoffs and lost four straight to Colorado. So that was kind of the beginning of the end, if you could say. And then last year, I thought for sure they could have made it in the playoffs in the North Division, and they choked again. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm done with Calgary. And now that I'm done with Calgary, they're a good team. So maybe I'm just a curse. I think that's what it is.
Damn, you're
I
hard on
think,
yourself, son.
look, if I stop cheering for the Leafs, they're gonna win the cup. But I won't stop cheering for the Leafs, so
Do
they'll
you think
never
that'd
win
be
the cup.
if Steve Dangle did that? If he stopped cheering
Oh,
for the Leafs,
maybe it's just people named Steven
that's it.
cheering
That's
for
the
hockey
problem.
teams.
Just Stevens, just genocide Stevens.
Oh
Just
God.
get rid of all of them.
Yeah, we just need. Oh no.
Sorry,
No.
Steve. You're part of them. You're part of the problem.
Oh man, yeah, I'm definitely not part of the solution. I'll tell you that much.
We should start
Yeah.
cheering for the Habs then,
I mean, no, it somehow would know that I'm being like fake about it, and it could read right through me.
and then they would win the cup. They would win
Yeah,
this year if you decided to switch up
yeah, right,
somehow.
exactly. It would be terrible. But no, going back to you were bringing up Josh Anderson, and he's a guy I do not think the Habs should trade at all. I agree with you, because even like looking at his contract and his age, like you got him for another 5 years after this at 5.5 million per year cap hit,
Yeah,
and he's only 27, so that takes him till he's like 32, 33. Like,
27. He's got what 5 year deal?
well, five after this year.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, 32,
Um,
33.
yeah, his birthday's in May, so he'll be 28 come the end of this contract. Yeah, yeah, 30, he'll be 33 at the end of the contract, which, you had him for all of his prime years, which I think again with a new coach and the direction that this team's going in, he's a guy you may want to keep around because towards the tail end of that contract, it could be time to win again. And
Hmm.
on a $5.5 million deal for the type of player he is, especially like you said, when it comes time to the playoffs, he can be really effective. Same thing with like a Brendan Gallagher, who his contract goes the exact same. He's got 5 years left after this one. He's 2 years older, mind you, but again, still, like I mean,
He's a bit. He's been more crucial to the Habs, and
yeah,
he's a leadership role to us. I'm sure.
exactly. I think by that time too, like obviously Weber is going to be gone. I think he'll be captain. I think Brendan Gallagher is going to be the next captain of the Habs. If actually, I've never asked you about that. What do you think?
I
I don't know. Have you given much thought? I should really ask because like obviously Weber's still there now, but
there's no doubt that he would be the captain. It's not really
yeah.
a conversation. It's just him. If Weber didn't join the Habs, it would have been him being the
Hmm.
captain. He definitely deserves it. He's the one that plays with the most heart on the team. Although other players show some of that as well. It's just him. He's shown it for his entire career here in Montreal. He's a lifelong Montreal Canadiens, and he wants to win the cup so badly for the Montreal Canadiens that just he's just that leadership that you look for, and he definitely deserves a C on his shirt.
Hmm. I agree. I
Nick
fully agree.
Suzuki would then take the A for sure,
Oh yeah, big
and
time.
he would be the captain when Gallagher would be out.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean,
I
I
think
could
that.
see Josh Anderson being an A too. Supposedly, Tyler Toffoli, who was traded to Calgary, he was almost a captain in that locker room. He was a captain without a letter. That's what they were telling on the media or in the media that he had that presence. Uh,
Oh yeah, he
he
brings that everywhere with him.
Yeah, exactly. He's an exemplary guy, and he has a good attitude to the game. He was doing well for himself also in Montreal this year, even considering the fact that the Canadians are one of the worst teams in the league, if not the worst. He was still performing well, and he got us a first round pick.
Yeah.
I'm a little saddened that he had to leave. I wish maybe Mike Hoffman would have gone the other way instead, but I don't think we would have gotten a first.
Hmm.
So what we got is what we got, and maybe we'll see something. Not him, maybe, but something to replace him in the off-season free agency, something like
Oh
that.
yeah, definitely. I mean, you can a guy like to find an exact Tyler Toffoli. Yeah, it's hard to have a guy who's his age. How old is he? He's 20. Like a guy who's 29, already won a cup is just like a solid first, second line player, you know.
He's on the
Yeah,
third, I believe, in Calgary.
in Calgary, wow.
They have that much depth. I mean, he
I was
could second, third, first. You know, they can move him around. But Goudreau was having a hell of a season this year.
Yeah, I guess yeah, officially yeah, I mean, wow, third line like their third line I'm looking at it right now is listed as Lucic, Monahan, Toffoli, which I
Crazy.
mean, yeah, like the fact that Monahan's there, like how has he been doing this year? Because I know he's struggled in recent years. I mean, 22 points in 49 games. Yeah, he's looking like a third liner. Let's
Not
be
good,
honest.
and he's probably getting paid a little too much.
Oh yeah, he is. Yes, at least there's only 1 year left after this year, so that's a good thing for Calgary fans.
That's right. Oh,
Is
if
that
they don't like him.
I don't think they're crazy about him. I'm being honest.
At one
I don't think
point,
Calgary
they were
fans.
great. At one point, he was like he's a 60-point guy.
Oh yeah, he was. He was looking like to be like a really good top line center and like everything he was gonna live up to the potential. Yeah, in 2019 he had 82 points, and again that was the year Calgary won the West. So
How many
like
points does he have again? Sorry,
this year,
Monahan. Yeah.
22 in 49 games.
Philip Deneau has 40. He's played 48 games and 28 points.
He's also playing. Is he playing?
I'm sure.
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure he's playing third line minutes or second line. I don't know
Yeah.
if Byfield is still injured.
Oh,
Um,
right. I
I
think he
really,
is still out.
I sort of just had get blanked out with the LA Kings after a GM mode.
Oh yeah, me
Stopped
too.
forgetting about. I just started forgetting about them. LA Kings line up here. Lines. Line combo. Daily face off. He is on the second line.
Okay, so he is. That's what I thought, honestly. But yeah, that is. Oh, Byfield actually is back. Never mind.
He is, yeah.
He's playing third line.
Correct. Correct. Blake
Okay.
Lazat's on the fourth. The legend, our third liner.
Yeah. But yeah, no. Going back to Calgary though, like with their lines, I mean, yeah, when you have like a second, like the fact that like your first line is basically like Goudreau, Lindholm, Kachuk, solid.
Yeah.
Manjapane, Backlund, and Coleman. So Backlund and Coleman, maybe not the guys you'd think. Like maybe I'd maybe think that.
Coleman a little bit more deserving than Backlund.
Oh,
Yeah,
he's a hardworking player.
I
Don't
put
get me wrong.
Monahan over Backlund.
I love Blake Coleman as a player.
Hmm.
Just the fact that he's playing. I guess yeah. I guess that's true because he was playing on like Tampa's third or fourth line, and Tampa's a deep team as we know.
Yeah.
So yeah, he that makes sense. He can be a second liner on most teams. I guess on the Devils, he was even a top line player. So it just shows he can play big minutes. And yeah, the fact that 30 years old, he's still doing it. And even Michael Backlund at 32, he's
Just
still getting
21
it done.
points, Blake Coleman.
Yeah, I guess it's yeah, 21 point. I guess I don't know. I That's the thing. I don't watch enough Calgary to know like how they use their lines because
Although this guy
like
never cracked 40, let alone
points.
37. Yeah.
Yeah, I know he's weird, but he's a hardworking player. That's the thing. It's like
Yeah.
it's so weird. I see Blake Coleman. I'm like he's a really good player, but then yeah, you're right. You look at the stats and it doesn't justify what you see on the ice. But I mean, hey,
It
you look at
works
his
for
playoff
them.
stats. Yeah. His playoff stats with Tampa, 13 points in 25 games, 11 points in 23 games last year. Like I don't he was an integral part of those cup winning teams and yeah, I mean, he got his money this offseason, that's for sure. I thought, see, that was another thing too. When Calgary gave him that contract, I'm like, that's gonna bite them in the ass. They're paying him way too much, but hey, they're playing okay now, so I can't say anything.
That's right. They're like 4 points out, or they're in the top of the Pacific with 4 points ahead of
Yeah,
anyone else.
yeah. Well, they're easily top 10 in the league, so
There you
yeah,
go.
they're having a good season.
They are indeed. And let's finish off with the Montreal Canadiens.
Yeah,
What would you give them as a rating? You know, like A to F scale. What would you give them?
like what am I rating them on
Just
specifically?
with the acquisition, the trade, pretty much from where we ended off.
So just like how business has been going for them, you're
Correct.
saying?
Since the departure of Mark Bergevin and Kent Hughes being brought in.
I'll give them. I'll give them a B plus A minus. Like they're going in the right direction. That's for sure. They're doing the right things. Um, like they know this year isn't their year, so they're kind of just selling off whatever assets they can for like whatever like a good price. I mean, again,
Yeah,
the Toffoli getting a first round pick for him, you like that's great to see. And you got a couple other players in there too, which is nice. So yeah, I'm giving them a B plus, A minus. They got all the guys in place. Now it's just about seeing what they do in the coming years. What about you? What do you say?
I'm on the same boat, pretty much. B plus, A minus. They made the acquisitions. They, I think I don't. They got so many pit licks. I forgot. But they pretty much have
Yeah.
all of the pit licks in the NHL, collecting them like infinity stones. And one's doing really well, actually. I think it's Rem Pitlick.
Yeah, he's the one that they already had.
No, I don't. Look, I don't know the storyline behind the Pitlicks, but I think he was in Minnesota,
Right, but I'm saying like they had him
and they
prior to that trade. They got
no,
Tyler.
they acquired him off of waivers.
Oh yeah, waivers. Yeah, there it is. Rem.
That's
What a
right.
weird name.
It's with an H too.
Nope, just
Oh,
REM.
I thought it was. Look at that. Anyways, he's a great acquisition. The
Hmm.
Hamburglar coming into the Montreal is a great third string goaltender. Even though he lost his edge after Ottawa, he didn't really pick up where he left off.
Hmm.
But he's looked his first game playing with Montreal Canadiens. He did great. I think that was a St. Louis victory there. It was a
Yes, it
very
was.
very close, tight game with a team that is poised to do really well in the playoffs. So the Habs are looking good now, right now, and hopefully they can. If they keep 500 till the end of the season, I'll be happy. Even if we don't get the first overall pick, I don't care. I'll
Hmm.
take a top 10 pick. I think Shane Wright is over. Like he's overrated.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, overrated is maybe a little harsh. I mean, I've said it too, though in the past. I will admit, but like, I'd say
I
yeah.
would trade. I would rather trade my first overall, not first overall pick, but my top 10 pick for Alexis Lafreniere before getting Shane Wright.
Ooh,
I would
so
do that.
I just did a draft lottery simulator. I mean, it's not bad. The Habs just moved down to second. Seattle moved up to first, which
Oh
again, you wouldn't mind.
no, don't care.
So yeah.
That top 10 is it's a good year for drafting. I'm sure we would have some sort of gem out of this. And Kent Hughes is a very smart man, and I'm
And
happy.
Jeff Gorton as well.
That's right, Jeff Gordon as well, and I'm happy I'm not in their shoes because I know nothing and about the players or what's to come. So Shane Wright is pretty much a letdown. He was projected to have 91 points in 64 games, but he's only got four. He's only got 57 points in 40 games. So
Mm. Yeah,
big.
that's a little low
It's a little low.
for yeah for a
There's an
guy
Oshawa General.
drafted.
There's an Oshawa General's doing way better than him. I forgot what his name is.
Is it Callum Ritchie?
Is it? I forgot what his name
Because I
is.
think he's kind of tapered off. He was hot to start the year, but then he kind of
He
tapered
was
off towards
hot
the end.
in January or before the shutdown.
Yeah, and also his draft year is until next year anyway, so he's a 16-year-old now.
Where is this?
Either
Ty
way, yeah, there
Tuberly.
is
Yeah,
someone.
we're finished with this subject, I believe.